Welcome to BBC News, broadcasting to viewers in North America and around the globe. I'm Regid Ahmed. Our top stories. Iraq's Prime Minister says the operation to retake the city of Mosul is underway. Wave after wave of airstrikes on rebel-held Aleppo. Western countries consider yet more sanctions on Russia and Syria. Donald Trump tells his supporters that the US elections are rigged, but doesn't offer any evidence. And blast off, China's latest and longest mission heads to its orbiting space station. Hello and welcome. The Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi says a military operation has begun to recapture Mosul, the country's second city, from Islamic State militants who have held it for more than 2 years. Tens of thousands of leaflets were dropped over Mosul during the day, warning residents to avoid locations used by IS fighters and to stay in their homes. Mr. Abadi was speaking live on state television, flanked by members of the Iraqi security forces. Well, the BBC's Ahmed Maher is on the outskirts of Mosul and he gave us this update. Well, retired Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer is Vice President for Operations at the London Centre for Policy Research. It's a New York-based think tank, and he's also a CIA-trained intelligence officer. Thank you very much for your time. I wanted to start by asking about the difficulty in going into Fallujah. This is going to be much tougher apologies about going into Mosul. It's going to be much tougher than it was to dislodge IS from Fallujah.
Absolutely. This is a large urban area. It's a very difficult task because we already know that, for example, today they've lit oil fields on fire, and we know they've booby-trapped the city. And plus, we have the humanitarian aspect of this. 1.2 million people will be directly affected by this. So this is no small task. But as your correspondent said, this is the major shift necessary to dislodge ISIS from Iraq. This is their last major stronghold, and the Pentagon has been working since earlier this year on a very precise timetable designed to essentially have Iraq free of ISIS in any way, in most ways that are measurable by January of this coming year. So this is everything is moving towards the direction the Pentagon has been intending for a while now.
Who are these Iraqi forces? Do they include Shia militia? Do they include US ground troops?
No U.S. ground troops officially. This is a coalition. This is an Iraqi-led operation. We have coalition forces. Our other large ally in this has been the Peshmerga. If you look at the map around, the Peshmerga have been effective in shaping the operation. They've been very good at being able to devastate ISIS for a while now. They've been our most reliable ally. But the forces going in are going to be Iraqi. Will U.S. troops be with them? Yes, absolutely. We've lost soldiers, a couple already. But we have been working a long time now, training, I think, about 12 divisions, 4 Pesh and 8 Iraqi, for the purposes of actually going in and liberating the city. So this is going to be a tough fight, no doubt. But this is going to be an Iraqi fight.
There are indications that this battle could also take some time. What is going to be the impact on the civilian population in there? I mean, there are some estimates of 1.5 million still living there.
Right. Absolutely. And I think this is going to be something that we have to work with the Iraqis to do. We have given warning to the civilians that the battle's starting. I think that's the minimum we can do. Now we have to bring in resources to help make sure that as we move into the city, they're protected and they're fed. This is going to be a major task. And yes, the Pentagon has been working with the Iraqis to make sure that humanitarian aspects of this operation are going to be followed. So I can't tell you it's going to go easily. I can't tell you it's going to go quickly. But I do believe the Pentagon, working with the Iraqis, has planned for a very effective support to the population as we move in and retake the city.
Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer, thank you very much for your time. Well, a second round of international talks on Syria has ended with no clear plan of how to stop the bombing of Aleppo by Russian and Syrian government forces. Tougher sanctions on Moscow and Damascus were discussed at the meeting in London, and no option is said to be off the table. But the British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson and his American counterpart John Kerry conceded that a military solution was extremely difficult. Our World Affairs correspondent Caroline Hawley reports. Well, in the US, Donald Trump, the Republican candidate for the US presidency, has alleged that the elections are rigged at many polling stations without giving any evidence. Until now, he has justified the claims by saying the media are biased against him. Mr. Trump's latest comments came as his running mate, Mike Pence, told reporters Donald Trump will honour the results of the election, no matter the outcome. Well, meanwhile, an investigation is underway after a Republican Party office in North Carolina was firebombed. Flammable material in a bottle was thrown through the front window in Orange County. A neighbouring building was also graffitied with a threat for Republican Party members to get out of town or else. In a tweet, Donald Trump has blamed the attack on supporters of the Democrats, whom he called animals representing Hillary Clinton. Mrs. Clinton has described the incident as horrific and unacceptable. Well, Michael Kuhn works as a volunteer at the Republican Party office that was attacked in Hillsborough, North Carolina, and he joins us from nearby his home. Michael Kuhn, thank you very much for your time. First of all, can you give us a description of the kind of damage that has been done?
Yes, the building that we're in, the rooms we're in, it consists of 3 rooms, and the main room with our signs and our computers, telephone, heavy smoke damage. I understand that the bomb landed underneath a couch and it melted the couch completely, and the chair next to it's been damaged significantly. Our signs were melted, and heavy smoke damage in the other rooms. We can still use a lot of the signs, but there's been significant smoke damage to the building.
It's an extraordinary attack, and it's not something you would normally think would happen in the United States. Have you in your career seen anything like this before?
No, I haven't. And I was speaking with a Republican Party person from our county earlier this evening. He's been a member of this party in this county for about 30 years at least, and he said he's never seen anything like this. So I believe tensions are out there mounting.
This has been a very divisive presidential campaign with a lot of angry rhetoric. Do you think that is partly to blame for seeing this unprecedented attack?
Well, I'm sure it stokes the fires. I'm sure it gets people upset, and unfortunately, these people chose to act violently. Yes.
And what needs to be done then? Because we've seen a lot of the angry rhetoric come from the Trump camp, some of the comments that Donald Trump has made, some from Hillary as well. Is it time for the campaign to just tone down?
No, I don't believe it is. I mean, I believe in freedom of speech, and that's the thing that was threatened today. And like our state party person said, we're going to be open for business tomorrow morning. All the offices here in the state, as well as our Hillsborough office, will be open tomorrow to serve the public with registration forms and voting material, and we'll be there to help people.
And how are you feeling after this attack? Are you worried something similar might happen? Do you feel safe?
Well, I feel safe in that I'm sure we'll all pull together now and strive for the best. But yes, it does leave one with concern, and I believe that you have to overcome that and push on. So.
Michael Kuhn, thank you very much. Volunteer there at the Republican Party office that was attacked in North Carolina. We'll stay with BBC News because still to come, we meet the teenage migrants trying to get to Britain from France and facing tear gas on a daily basis. This is BBC News. I'm Regid Ahmed. The latest headlines. The Prime Minister of Iraq says the operation to retake the city of Mosul from the so-called Islamic State has begun. And with Syrian government and Russian warplanes continuing bombing raids on rebel-held East Aleppo, the United States and Britain have been discussing imposing new sanctions on Damascus and Moscow. Well, campaigners are calling on the government to speed up, as a matter of urgency, its program to resettle hundreds of unaccompanied children stranded in Calais at the migrant camp known as the Jungle. Small groups have been allowed into the UK, but with the camp due to be demolished in the coming days, there's growing concern for those still living there. Our special correspondent Ed Thomas has spent the last week at the camp, where tensions are rising. A Chinese space rocket has blasted off from a launch pad in the Gobi Desert in the first manned mission to China's new space station. Two astronauts, Xing Haipeng and Chen Dong, will spend a month living on board the orbiting laboratory, Tiangong-2. The mission is designed to test Beijing's ability to send astronauts to the moon and eventually to Mars. Well, the BBC's Robin Brandt is in Shanghai for us. Robin, first of all, did the launch go according to plan?
Yes, it did. Those two men are now up, orbiting above the Earth. The rocket has separated from their capsule. We've seen footage streamed on the internet and on Chinese national state TV here. And we've seen the two astronauts in the capsule, their pencils floating to prove that they are now out of the Earth's orbit and in a zero gravitation environment. So they are on the way. It's going to take 2 days to get to Tiangong-2, which is not quite a fully operational space station, yet a precursor essentially to that. But this is all about China pushing the boundaries, doing more in space on this sixth manned mission. And the big ambition here is to have that operational space station up and running by 2022.
Why is China pushing into space, as you say, when other superpowers are scaling back their programs?
Well, this is all about China advancing technologically, advancing diplomatically, and trying as well, let's be honest, to advance its influence both on the Earth and possibly, to the concern of some like the Americans, above the Earth. President Xi Jinping has spoken of wanting his country, as it moves from a developing nation and becoming, of course, hugely richer over the recent decades, to becoming a space power. It is now only the third country after Russia and the United States in its own right to mount manned missions to space. And this is all about China showing the world what it can do independently and as well, as I said, try to become more influential. And this has raised the heckles of some like the United States who worry about the possible military benefits of missions like this.
Robin Brandt in Shanghai, thank you very much. Well, in other news, there have been scenes of joy after 21 Nigerian schoolgirls kidnapped by the Islamist militants in the town of Chibok were at last reunited with their families. The girls were held for more than 2 years by the jihadists of Boko Haram, and officials say the group is still holding 83 others. The 15-year-old daughter of the American sprinter Tyson Gay has been shot and killed in the city of Lexington in Kentucky. Trinity Gay died soon after being hit in the neck after what witnesses say was an exchange of fire between two vehicles in the early hours of the morning. Police have detained 2 people. More than 50 people are reported to have been killed in heavy fighting outside the city of Malakal in South Sudan. Rebel forces mounted an assault on the country's second biggest city on Friday, having seized nearby villages, but government forces say they have repelled the attack. The United States and South Korea have ended a huge military exercise. For 6 days, the navies of the two countries have practiced war scenarios in the seas on both sides of the peninsula. It's the first time exercise Invincible Spirit, as they call it, has been held in 6 years. And it came as North Korea tested a missile on Saturday. Stephen Evans reports from Busan in South Korea. Well, just before we go, a giant panda believed to be the world's oldest ever kept in captivity has died. Xia, who was 38 years old, had been kept at Ocean Park in Hong Kong. And local reports say her condition had worsened rapidly in the past couple of weeks and she'd lost her appetite. And she was put down by vets. And these pictures are from a happier day when the park held a celebration for her 37th birthday last July. BBC World News.